Hello everyone, welcome to my video. In this video I'll take you through my research and tell you what I've been doing. So my research is located in Culemborg, which is a city in the middle of the Netherlands. It's located along the river the Lek. I've been doing research in the neighborhood of Parijs and the Culemborgse polder, which is located at the west of the Culemborg. In this area I've been looking at the ditches, which problems are there and how is the current water quality. So first let's dive into the history. Why are there so many ditches in this area and what is the purpose of all these ditches? So the river the Lek had a great influence on the landscape in this area. The floodings of the Lek deposited sandy material which created the natural levees here. Behind this there's a low-lying area which consists of heavy clays. Water from heavy rainfalls and floodings couldn't be discharged here. This resulted in a swampy area where peat was formed. The reclamation of this area started between the 10th and 11th century. To discharge the water from the polders, they created ditches which also formed the edges of the land plots. When the water was drained from this area, this also created more problems. The clay started to compact and the peat started to oxidize, which resulted in even more low-lying area in comparison to the Lek. Here you see the Culemborgse Wetering. This is a water body digged in 1826 to help discharge the water from the area. The water from the polders and from the neighborhood Parijs is drained towards this Parijse Wetering. And from here it is pumped up in the direction of the river de Linge, where it will be discharged finally. The invention of the pumping stations and the digging of this new wetering was a huge improvement for the water management in this area. Previously they had so much floodings that they only could mow the grass at the end of the spring, and now it became more available for agriculture. If you currently look in the ditches of Culemborg, you can see a lot of structures, for example, weirs, pumping stations, and culverts. They are all needed to drain the area. For this reason, the land can be used more intense now. For agriculture, for living, if you ride to Culemborg, you can see a lot. And unnatural maintenance. It all has an impact on the water quality of these ditches. So how is the water quality exactly? Research by the municipality showed that 44% of the water bodies in Culemborg have a water quality which is insufficient. The European Water Directive monitors the water quality in the most important waters in the Netherlands. In Culemborg, this is the Parijse Wetering. Here the water board thinks of the factors that are impacting the water quality and they think of measures on improving it. In the resulting water bodies, this is not monitored very well. For this reason, I chose to monitor the water quality myself. I measured it by going into the field and measuring the pH with a pH strip, measuring the turbidity with a self-made sachet and by looking at the fauna and flora along and in the ditch. I got some help from my sister-in-law. Here you can see we're looking at the animals that we found in the scooping nets. In the more turbid waters we found a lot of duckweed and water snails. These animals are bioindicators of a bad water quality. For example, the water snail has a special kind of hemoglobin to use the oxygen way more efficient. They can survive in ditches that are very low in oxygen. In the more clear waters, I saw other plants than only duckweed or waterweed. The ditch in the neighborhood of Parijs, I also saw yellow flag, for example. I measured the water quality at 4 different ditches. Each ditch was at the border of a different land use. One was at the border of a maize field, one was in a neighborhood of Parijs, one measurement in the Parijse Wetering, and one next to a cattle farm. This way I could also see the influence of the on the water quality in the ditches. With the Sachi I found out that the water is way more turbid in the ditches near the cattle farm and the maize farm. Here you see the Bouwde spot in the neighborhood Parijs. This neighborhood was built in 1998 and before this it was also part of the Culemborgse polder. Here measures are taken to improve the water quality. More natural banks are made here at the Bouwde spot. The project was implemented by the engineering company BWZ. Now there's a long green field of about 850 meters. This more natural bank has a function for the water storage, but it's also very important for the ecological development. The vegetation reduces the contaminants running off into the ditch, and the water plants have a purifying effect on the water. It gives opportunities for the biodiversity of plant species. The slope creates a succession of the vegetation from water to land. The deep parts grow submerged water plants and more near the edge more immerged water plants. At this specific location there was a focus to create an appropriate biotope for the moor frog. The municipality and the water board maintain this area together. The water board is responsible for the dredging and maintenance of the water, and the municipality mows the grass and sows seed twice a year. There were also plans to make a footpath in the grass to improve the traffic safety, because the Bouwde spot is very narrow and walking and biking here can be dangerous. But there was a lot of opposition by the inhabitants because they liked the rest here and they were afraid that the people would create a lot of noise. One of the main problems is the low flow velocity in the ditches. Culverts are placed too high. This means that they fall dry if the water level drops. This hampers the refreshment. The municipality is still investigating on how to improve the refreshment. They first want to improve the monitoring of the problem first. Another important source of contamination is the agricultural runoff. Nitrate and phosphate from manure is flushed into the water, especially in the Culemborgse polder. There are strict laws and regulations, but the enforcement still remains a problem. So, according to the municipality and the report for the European Framework Directive, the water in the ditches is not good, but not all stakeholders see it this way or see it as a problem. It depends on which goals you have and through whose eyes you're looking. A farmer I interviewed is clearly happy with the water quality, and the ecologist from the water board Rivierland has his concerns. And the municipality has a strong opinion that the responsibility is mainly for the water board.
Ik vind de waterkwaliteit goed, mooi helder water. Mogelijkheid ook voor waterkwaliteit ligt ook echt bij het waterschap.
Ja.
Wij zorgen wel voor het maaien en ja, wij zorgen ook gewoon dat de rioleringen, dat dat allemaal goed afgevoerd wordt naar rioolzuivering, zeg maar. Dat is echt rioolbeheer.
Ja.
Maar wij bijvoorbeeld geen overstorten en dat soort dingen kunnen we allemaal wel voorkomen dat het in grachten en sloten komt. Want ja, dan krijg je geen waterkwaliteit. Ja, dat willen we niet. Maar ik denk dat de primaire verantwoordelijkheid ligt ook bij het water. De Nederlandse overheid op de vingers getikt van ja, je moet veel meer doen aan het terugdringen van die bemesting. En zolang dat niet lukt, fosfaat en stikstof, zolang dat niet lukt, betekent dat de systemen te hoge nutriëntengehaltes zullen hebben. te hoge nutriëntengehaltes, die zorgen er namelijk voor een heel groot gedeelte voor dat we die doelen niet halen.
Yeah. So after listening to a farmer, the municipality and the water board, you can come to the conclusion that it's a quite complex problem. To improve the water quality, the different stakeholders have to sit around the table and work together. So, thank you for listening to my video and I hope you enjoyed it.